Crescent City Steakhouse, a true neighborhood restaurant operated by the Vojkovic family since 1934. It is the oldest steakhouse in the city of New Orleans. Serving only hand-cut, prime-aged, corn-fed beef for over 80 years, Crescent City Steakhouse has become a dining destination for both die-hard locals and adventurous travelers who seek traditional, timeless New Orleans cuisine. Crescent City Steakhouse, 1001 North Broad, on the corner of St. Philip, in the heart of New Orleans.
Hey, don't forget my pimento cheese. Of course.
It's okay, I'll take it from here.
Hey, the guy get a seat!
For the love of palmetto cheese.
Handling a gator like this can be scary, and this is pretty risky too. But do you know what's really dangerous? Dealing with the insurance company after your car wreck. If you've been injured, get a fighter. That's why you need to call me. I'm not afraid to handle them, and I'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve. So if you've been hurt, hire a professional. Just call me. Get it done.
Get Gordon. Get it done.
Call 1-800-653-9968.
So here's the bottom line. Well, it's funny that you say that. Let me tell you. Good evening and welcome to Primetime Sports. Hey, I'm your host, Scott Alexander, and most importantly, happy Mardi Gras. Hope everybody's having a nice, safe one. And if you're watching this late Sunday night on WWL, well, you probably had a pretty good weekend. And you're probably feeling a little bit rough right now. If you're watching this on Tuesday on CST, well, I'm guaranteeing you're probably feeling rough right now. But I hope you had a great, safe Mardi Gras. And if it's Sunday, I hope you continue to. Hey, by the way, sports. This is a great time of year. I usually say that almost all the times of the year, except maybe middle of the summer. But in New Orleans, there's so much going on. The Pelicans are fresh off of their All-Star break. They had the week off. That team went 17-10 down the stretch, and they started to play so much better with Zion Williamson in the lineup. I'm looking forward to the next 26 games to see how they finish up in this playoff run. It's going to be interesting. They still got a lot of teams to overcome, but it's possible. They have to play 600 to 700 basketball, which means they got to win 7 out of 10 games going down the stretch, which is not going to be easy to do, but it'll be fun to watch, engage, and see how Zion progresses. Hey, by the way, also, the college baseball season is well underway. Love it. LSU Tigers. You got the UNO Privateers, the Tulane Green Wave, and, of course, the other teams like UL Raging Cajuns, the Southeastern Lions, and, of course, the Nicholls State Colonels. And I love these teams. I love the coaches of these teams. Get out and support those teams. They deserve it. There's no minor league baseball anymore. Go out and support the college guys. Go out and watch some high school baseball. Go out and watch the high school basketball playoffs. That's in full steam right now. I'm loving the high school sports getting some action. We got so much going on. The NOLA Gold. How about this team? They're going to be in for 2 more home games in a row. The 29th of February, they're going to play in now the Gold Mine on Airline, the former Shrine on Airline. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then they follow that up with yet another home game on March 7th. 2 Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock starts. Beautiful time of year to watch rugby, and it's a great, great sport. Give it a try. I'm telling you, you will have a blast over there in the great afternoons over at the Shrine on Airline. And like I said, we are calling it the Gold Mine on Airline. Today, special show for you. One of my favorite athletes from the city of New Orleans. He's one of the great ones. And when you talk baseball, there's guys like Melott. There's guys like Rusty Staub. There's guys like Will the Thrill Clark. And there's guys like Johnny Giavotella. That's right. He played in the majors for 4 different teams. Particularly his big stint with the Los Angeles Angels was the biggest one. But he's coming up next right here on Primetime Sports. And trust me, this is an interview you will not want to miss. Coming up next, right here. Stay tuned.
Make no mistake about it, life's more fun with seafood.
Oysters don't swim.
They do in butter.
What'd you get? A little bit of everything to make everyone happy.
Acme Oyster House. Life really is more fun with seafood.
Did you know that GMFS Mortgage is the largest independent mortgage company in Louisiana? Their 250 employees have helped over 79,000 customers make the dream of home ownership come true. They funded over $12.9 billion in loans right here in Southeast Louisiana. If you're ready to buy, build, or renovate a new home, or just need to refinance, call the company born and raised here, GMFS Mortgage.
Handling a gator like this can be scary, and this is pretty risky too. But do you know what's really dangerous? Dealing with the insurance company after your car wreck. If you've been injured, get a fighter. That's why you need to call me. I'm not afraid to handle them, and I'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve. So if you've been hurt, hire a professional. Just call me. Get it done.
Get Gordon. Get it done.
Call 1-800-653-9968.
Rock and roll will never die. It's old New Orleans, my oh my. Come on, baby, let's go rock and roll at the city lane. All night, let's roll, let's rock and roll. Baby, do the rock and roll. At Mid-City Lane's the home of rock and roll.
Hey, don't forget my pimento cheese. Of course.
It's okay, I'll take it from here.
Hey, I got your receipt.
For the love of palmetto cheese.
Primetime Sports with Scott Alexander is underwritten by Task Performance.
Hey, welcome back to Primetime Sports. Like I said in the open, I am looking forward to this show. I've been waiting for it. Last week, we did some baseball. We had the two college coaches at UNO and Tulane, and today, well, I have a former UNO player, I have a former Jesuit player, I have a former Kansas City Royal, California Angel, well, I think Los Angeles Angel, I'm showing my age on that one, and also Baltimore Oriole, and a little bit with the Miami Marlins as well. His name is Johnny Giavotella, one of the great baseball players from the city of New Orleans. There's Will Clark, there's Mel Ott, there's Rusty Staub, and then there's Johnny G. I'm putting you in that class, my friend.
Thanks for having me on
board.
How are you,
man?
bud? Oh, it's great. Yeah, I'm doing great. And just to mention that in that same sentence with those guys is unbelievable. I don't know if I deserve all that credit, but I'll take it.
Those are some great ones, though, right?
Unbelievable players. I mean, I grew up watching Will Clark and all the home runs and walk-off home runs he used to hit. It was amazing, and to have him come back at Jesuit and throw a batting practice to it and speak to us, it was an honor. So to be mentioned in the same sentence as him is definitely pretty big accomplishment.
Not many New Orleanians, though, have started in the major leagues, and you're one of those guys. I actually had to play second base from that sweet swinging lefty, and if you play second base, you want to play in the outfield because that guy will take your head off of the line drive. Will Clark, that is.
Yeah, I can't imagine. He was a big guy. I heard he swung the bat incredibly hard, and I'm sure he was really fun to watch.
And he looked good on the field with that eye black, too. It was always nice. But as far as your career, man, you hung him up recently. You had some hip injuries. Mm-hmm. When you look back, and I'm going to do general first, when you look back at what you accomplished, I mean, listen, starting for a couple of years with Mike Trout in the lineup for the Los Angeles Angels, and then the Anaheim Angels before that. I went back to the 80s with the California Angels.
Right.
What was that like of your entire career, and then obviously that special couple of years you had with the Angels?
It was an unbelievable run that I had in my career. I gave my all each and every day. So at the end of my career, when I was hanging it up, I knew that I didn't have any regrets because I played every day like it might be my last. And so when that day finally came, I was able to hang him up without having anything that I wish I would have done differently.
Like, I remember watching you, like you said, you gave it all every time you were on the field. And I grew up, my hero, and maybe not my hero, post-career was Pete Rose.
Okay.
I mean, that dude, he was always Charlie Hustle. He was flying through. And I have some highlights of you diving, kind of like him. Who was your hero growing up?
My hero was Derek Jeter growing up. I mean, he was, 6'4", great smile. Everything he did was cool. And so I grew up emulating him. I mean, obviously I'm not, smooth and silky like he was, but to see what he could do on the baseball field was something that I really admired. And he was a great example, not just for me, but for everybody who watched him play.
Growing up as a kid, before you went to UNO, great baseball history there, you went to Jesuit.
Mm-hmm.
What was that program like, and what are your memories from Jesuit?
I had a great experience at Jesuit. Jesuit, really helped propel me in my career to blossom as a man and a baseball player after I was done there. And so we were able to win state twice when I was in my freshman and senior year. We came in second my junior year, which still kind of
That's impressive.
Stings a little bit.
The 1 year that you didn't win?
Yeah, and I played in the big leagues against a guy named Reed Brignac, who was the shortstop for St. Amant, who beat us my junior year. And he still ribs me for it, for coming back and beating us in that junior state championship.
He's got that one thing on you.
Yeah, he got me on that, and it was hard to swallow, but we still won too, so we had a pretty good run.
That's pretty impressive. Then you go on to UNO, the great history. Like I said last week, the first team from Louisiana to make it to the World Series back in '84 with my teammate playing shortstop, Kenny Benura.
Yeah.
But going to UNO, what did you know about them before, and tell me about your career there?
So UNO was one of the few teams that actually gave me a shot. They gave me a small scholarship, but I was able to win the starting job at second base as a freshman. So they gave me opportunity, and as a high school player, it's all you want. If you really believe in yourself and all you need are at bats, then go somewhere where people are going to allow you to go succeed and allow you to showcase your talent. Did that for me. I was able to play in the Cape Cod League for 2 years. In the summer because I had a pretty good career at UNO, and it definitely helped me become a big prospect coming out of the draft.
That's a good question. Before you go to college, what are your thoughts about next level? We all dream about being a major league player or NBA player, NFL player. What was your dream? Did you think that was something you were going to accomplish?
Absolutely not. I mean, I would watch baseball players on TV, but these guys are bigger than life. These guys are huge and big and strong, and they were gritty. And I was, small and just kind of slow. But once I got to UNO, I'm like, man, I'm pretty good at this. I could let's see how far I can make it. And then I went to Cape Cod. Did pretty well my second year there. Got drafted the second round, and then had a lot of confidence coming out of that.
I mean, think about that. You're second round. I mean, you're like one of the top 60, 70 picks of high school and college. It's not like most. I mean, baseball, a lot of high school guys get picked. That had to be an honor for you. What was that day like?
Oh, getting drafted was one of the best memories I could possibly have. I had friends and family who were at my apartment on Canal Boulevard, and we're watching the draft on the computer and the TV, and to see my name flash across the screen. 49th overall was unbelievable.
That's huge.
We were going nuts. Yeah, it was emotional, and everything that I worked for, to finally play professional baseball and for a team to believe in me that highly was something that was super gratifying.
I know, obviously, minors is a part of life in baseball, but that first day, you were able to get the phone call that you're moving up to the major leagues, and B, that first day you stepped on a major league field knowing that you might get in the game. What are those two experiences like?
Well, getting the phone call, I mean, you get the phone call or whatever, but to me, when I was playing in AAA, I would take ground balls every day. That was one of my Achilles tendons was, he's not good enough defensively to play in the big leagues. He could hit, but defensively he's not capable of sustaining himself in the big leagues. And so I would take ground balls every day. I would tell the head coach, come on, let's go early every day. Let's work on backhands, forehands. The last thing I want to do is have any kind of knack that they're going to hold against me. And so after a long game in August, the manager calls me in. He's like, Johnny, do you want to take ground balls tomorrow? I know you had a long day. Do you want to just rest up and get ready for the game tomorrow? And I thought about it for a second, and then he pauses and he goes, would you rather go to the big leagues? And I was like, oh man,
that's how it happened?
That's how it happened, yeah.
Oh
so
my goodness.
I was kind of floored. I was stunned. I mean,
what a great
sat
story.
down, I sat down and just, everything kind of hit me at that moment, and I called my mom and dad and shed some tears, and it was a dream come true.
And then you came on like gangbusters. I mean, talk about that beginning. I mean, you were on fire.
Yeah, so I got called up on a Thursday night. So Friday night was my first game in the big leagues, and I was facing Rick Porcello. Yeah. All my friends and family flew in that day. Took the overnight flight to Kansas City.
Who's still pitching, isn't he? I mean,
I mean, he won
World Series.
He won AL Cy Young a few years later.
Exactly. Yeah.
So my opening weekend, I faced Rick Porcello on Friday night, Justin Verlander Saturday night, and then Max Scherzer Sunday night.
Oh, so goodness.
All three Cy Young winners. That year in 2011, Justin Verlander won the AL MVP, the most valuable player in the entire.
That's so rare for a pitcher.
unbelievable.
So this is your first 3 starting pitchers you go against.
The first
My
three guys,
goodness.
I go 5 for 9 with 2 doubles and a home run that series.
Yeah, I belong. Say,
I'm like,
I belong.
I made it. I'm here, and I proved that I should be here.
Do you remember what you did against Justin personally?
So my first at bat. So Justin Verlander, how he works is he usually paces himself early along in the game whenever he needs to get himself out of a jam, whereas time gets tough, late in the game, he starts ramping it up. So early on in the game, he was throwing 92, 93, very hittable. But, and so he gave me a fastball first pitch, and I laced it up and almost hit him in the forehead for a base hit, right? And so he didn't like it after that. And so I came up my second at bat, and he threw a fastball, was like 97 on the outside corner.
He's like, I got you
First
now.
pitch. Second pitch was like 98 on the inside corner. I couldn't even react. I was
a little tougher to catch up to those.
0-2. And he throws a ball, I think it's coming right at my ear.
He buckled you?
What I thought was 98.
Right.
And all of a sudden, this ball just broke off the table into the catcher's mitt for strike 3. I didn't even take the bat off my shoulder in the at-bat. And he showed me, what the big leagues was all about.
He said, go back to the dugout, young buck. Hey, we're going to come back because I want to talk more. We're going to talk more about his great career, his time with Mike Trout with the Angels. That's where his career really blossomed. Obviously, Johnny Giavotella, one of New Orleans' great athletes, not just great baseball players, but great athletes overall. Played middle linebacker for the Jesuit Blue Jays on a really good football team there. Played a lot of basketball growing up as well. We'll get into that and talk about retirement. What is that like? Hey, coming right back here. Stay tuned on Primetime Sports. Crescent City Steakhouse, a true neighborhood restaurant operated by the Vojkovic family since 1934, is the oldest steakhouse in the city of New Orleans. Serving only hand-cut, prime-aged, corn-fed beef for over 80 years, Crescent City Steakhouse has become a dining destination for both die-hard locals and adventurous travelers who seek traditional, timeless New Orleans cuisine. Crescent City Steakhouse, 1001 North Broad, on the corner of St. Philip, in the heart of New Orleans.
Did you know that GMFS Mortgage is the largest independent mortgage company in Louisiana? Their 250 employees have helped over 79,000 customers make the dream of home ownership come true. They funded over $12.9 billion in loans right here in Southeast Louisiana. If you're ready to buy, build, or renovate a new home, or just need to refinance, call the company born and raised here, GMFS Mortgage.
Rock and roll will never die. It's old New Orleans, my oh my. Come on, baby, let's go rock and roll at the city lane. All night, let's roll, let's rock and roll. Baby, do the rock and roll. At the mid-city lanes, the home of rock and roll.
Handling a gator like this can be scary, and this is pretty risky too.
But do you know what's really dangerous? Dealing with the insurance company after your car wreck. If you've been injured, get a fighter.
That's why you need to call me. I'm not afraid to handle them, and I'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve. So if you've been hurt, hire a professional. Just call me. Get it done.
Get Gordon. Get it done.
Call 1-800-653-9968.
Hey, welcome back to Primetime Sports. Hey, we got baseball one more week. I told you we're going to delve into those Pelicans really soon, and obviously we're going to get prepared for that Saints draft and everything going on with LSU baseball as well. But right now, we got Johnny Giavotella right here. He played high school, Jesuit, college at UNO, and his first major league team we just talked about, well, the Kansas City Royals. But he moved on, and he ended up playing with one of the great players, I'm going to go ahead and say in baseball history, certainly the best player playing in baseball right now, Mike Trout. Started a couple of years with the I keep wanting to say California Angels, but it's the Los Angeles Angels, and I don't know why I say that because I said Anaheim for 2 decades.
Right.
But let's talk about that. Good to see you again, man.
Yeah, great to have me
Appreciate
on.
that fun first segment. But this Angels thing, that's when your name became kind of almost a household name around baseball circles. I mean, people from here knew you.
You could definitely
and then
say that.
People were hearing about your great first weekend with the Royals and what you did there. But when you start for the Angels and you're with a guy named Mike Trout, you're on another level then.
Yeah, well, first of all, I wasn't given the everyday job with the Angels. You know, when they brought me over to Anaheim, I was the fourth second baseman coming into spring training, and I was able to have a really good spring training, beat them all out, and they nominated me the opening day second baseman, which was the first time in my career that I started for an opening day.
Where'd you think you were going to be opening day, for real?
You know, I was always starting off in Omaha and in Kansas City, so I was always, you know, getting demoted down to AAA in spring training. So for me to actually get on top and win that second base job coming out of spring training and having my first opening day in Seattle was unbelievable.
2015.
That was 2015, yeah.
Yeah, so then all of a sudden you start hitting. I mean, you start hitting like, I know, I'm like looking at the baseballs. I was a nerd growing up. In the old days, before even USA Today, you'd have this long line of, you know, as a kid, you see these dudes sitting up there, and you were up there for a while. What was that like?
Yeah, to actually go up to the big leagues and play the way that you're capable of playing. Because in Kansas City, I was always playing uptight and playing with a lot of pressure. Because if I didn't play well, I was getting sent back down. Yeah,
right.
It's a tough way to play. And so to actually just take a deep breath, relax, and play my game was something that I was really able to do when I got to LA.
And we'll talk about having the relationship with Trout and that team. He wasn't the only guy on the team. I mean, Pujols was around. I mean, come on.
David Freese. I played with some really good players. I mean, we actually missed the playoffs that year by one game.
Right.
We lost the Astros in the last game of the season to prevent us from going to the World Series or the playoffs. They actually made it to the World Series a couple years later. But to play with Mike Trout.
That one.
Yeah, right. to play with Mike Trout and David Freese and Albert Pujols was huge for my career because I actually saw what it was to be that good and to see those guys still struggle. You know, they go through the ups and downs, slumps. They're just able to figure it out, you know, faster than anybody else can. And so, you know, to have that kind of atmosphere around me was big for my development in my career.
I mean, this wasn't that long ago. I mean, you're starting, and injuries are a fact of life. And you had basically a career-ending injury. I mean, you tried to come back. I know you played a little bit with the Orioles, and you had some time with the Marlins organization, which the minor league team was here, the New Orleans Baby Cakes.
Yeah.
Talk about what that's been like, because it's kind of sudden. You're still a young guy. You're 32. Talk about what retirement on a sudden level like that is for an athlete that's been tuned his whole life.
Yeah, so first of all, baseball is very demanding. You play every day. You know, I went 6 weeks straight where I played 45 games in a row.
Wow.
You know, so it's very demanding on your body, especially in the minor leagues when you're taking 2 flights in the morning and then playing that night every 4 to 8 days.
Brutal.
It's really hard, and you know, to have taking care of your body is big, and I always try to do that, but unfortunately, you know, I had a bad hip, and eventually it led to me having to retire. But life's great now. I have a little 10-month-old kid. I'm at Tulane getting my MBA, and so, you know, you just got to take what life gives you and keep moving forward. You know, my wife always tells me that it's not about, you know, what you're able to accomplish. It's what you're able to do when things are kind of up against you and your back's against the wall, how you're able to respond from that.
So you're Tulane getting the MBA. You obviously went to UNO. You're going to go to your law degree at LSU next? I mean, you got to get everybody involved, right? Come on now.
After this MBA degree, I'm schooled out. I mean, I don't want to go to another class.
What do you think you're going to do? What do you want to do with this degree?
I'm specialized in analytics, and I know how baseball is kind of gearing, you know, more towards the analytic realm. And so if I could speak in both worlds, having the playing experience and the analytic background as well, I think that'd be a big asset for, you know, front office if I wanted to go that route, if I wanted to go back and coach college, or just if I wanted to, you know, maintain my properties here in New Orleans with real estate. You know, I think the business background covers a lot of areas and gives me a lot of versatility coming out.
It opens doors too.
Yes.
You learn so much, but it opens doors. Once you have that extra degree, and then when you are going to be the next Billy Bean, I have a feeling if that's what you want to do, you'll accomplish that for sure. That opens those doors as well to get in there. But going forward, we mentioned the Astros, and I got to bring this up because this is the news right now.
Sure.
As a player, what's it like when you know the pitch? What's it like when you know what's coming? Because we all think, hey, man, it's hard regardless, and we know it's hard for the average person. But if you know the pitch as a major leaguer, how well could like a Mike Trout do?
I mean, the sky's the limit for guys that know what's coming. I mean, the whole, the entire difficulty in the big leagues is because the pitcher can throw 3 or 4 different pitches, 4 strikes at different velocities with different, you know, curvatures on it. So to know what's coming eliminates a lot of the uncertainty. and it definitely increases your percentages of hitting the ball hard.
Would it have helped you with that Verlander curveball that you buckled on?
No. I still would have had no chance. You could have told me it was coming, I still would have had no chance of hitting it.
No, but I mean, so there's rules. I mean, we all know that sign stealing is something we do, but this is a different thing. It's electronic.
Yeah.
Listen, even though high school, you did it at Jesuit, we all did. We're seeing the pitcher or the catcher what he's throwing out there, and back then it's 1 for fastball, 2 for curve.
Right.
So we did something, but this is a different level. Explain to why this is so egregious to the average fan as opposed to just the regular run-of-the-mill stuff that we all did.
Yeah, I think I have the same opinion as a lot of people that, listen, if you're tipping your pitches, if you're, kind of identifying what's coming and you're able to do it in a way where people can pick up on it, that's obviously one thing.
It's baseball.
Exactly. If you're not, protecting your signs and people can see what's coming, then that's your fault. But, if you're doing everything that you need to do to, prevent anybody from picking up the signs, but someone's using a camera in the outfield to do it, I think that's crossed the line. And I definitely think the Astros, had an advantage. I'm not the commissioner, which I'm grateful for because I don't want to have that kind of responsibility.
Maybe you will be one day.
To come down on people like that. But I definitely think that they were crossing the line and had a significant advantage.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's been
season.
interesting to see baseball players come out and talk about it. I mean, and I mentioned Trout because he doesn't usually get too controversial. He is the face of baseball.
He is.
And when he came out and said, and I'm not talking about how he said, what could I do with, we know what he could do. He could hit 500 easy. But for him, did you think it was important for a man of his stature to make such strong comments about, going against what the Astros did?
I do. Trout's a very respected person in the game, just by the way he plays. I mean, he plays the game the right way, hustling on a ground ball back to the pitcher like, it's the 7th game of the World Series in August, So he plays the game the right way, and he's very well respected. So for him to come out and actually have an opinion on the matter and say that what they did was wrong and that they should be reprimanded for it was big. And I love the guy. He's a great kid, and I'm happy for him to come out and actually, say what he needed to say.
And before we end this, I have to say, without you thinking about it, what's your first moment when I say, what's your greatest time in sports?
My first home run in the big leagues.
That was it.
Max Scherzer, third game in the big leagues, Sunday day game, first time I'm facing him. Throws me a fastball inside, and I turn onto left field, and family and friends were there, so it was an unbelievable accomplishment.
And Max Scherzer is a bulldog, for one, and he is a guy that is facing the Astros right now, and I don't want to be an Astro right now when he's up to the plate because he's going to be. But then again, he did beat him, so I guess he doesn't care as much. We give prizes and shirts on this show. We give gift certificates. I'm going to give you.
Nice.
Hey, you know what? Love you. I'm going to give you 100. How about that? That's 100 for Shays Delashays. Hey, Evan, I'm giving you free advertising, so use it up. And also, Task Performance. We give the best shirts you'll ever wear. That's my favorite gunmetal.
Perfect.
Man, feel how soft that is.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I have a few Task shirts. Really nice. Yeah, they're great.
New Orleans Company, by the way.
I love it.
And we have the navy blue as well.
Beautiful.
Those are good shirts. So that'll go for your Jesuit. By the way, Jesuit, I guess it's this color, but I always thought when I played it, they had navy uniforms. Maybe I was wrong.
No,
Royal.
Royal,
always Royal.
Yep.
Hey, Johnny Giavotella, appreciate
Scott,
you.
thanks for having me on, man.
And if you haven't signed a ball yet, we'll get you on. But, hey, I want to thank everybody out there. Albert Dupont, our great producer at Loyola University, with this beautiful studio. Sonia Due, the Redhead Tsunami, and everybody else that works on this show, and WWL and CST. We want to thank you, too. Happy Mardi Gras, everybody. Be safe out there. We'll see you again next time. Well, it's funny that you say that. Let me tell you.